Welcome back to ADHD Whiskey. My name is Matt, and today I'm gonna list like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 bourbons that make me go, that's the opposite of great. Today we're talking about a bunch of bourbons that you should avoid like the plague. This bundle of bourbon is bourbon that I will never buy again. But before I start this diss list, I'm gonna tell you about something good. Today's video is once again brought to us by our good friends over at Shaker and Spoon. What the heck is Shaker and Spoon, Matt? Super happy you asked, Matt. Shaker and Spoon is a monthly cocktail subscription service that delivers the craft cocktail experience to your front door. What's inside this box is enough to make 12 delicious cocktails. Choose from a variety of spirits and they send you a box that'll rock your socks. The only thing you need to supply is the alcohol. My wife is still digging the tequila, so this month I got another tequila box called Anejo Let's Go. 3 recipe cards and a glossary. Beautiful presentation as always, just look at it. And the recipe that I'm gonna create tonight to make my wife's face fill with delight is the Tijuana Brass. Mexico. That's amazing. I am the Emerald Lagasse of cocktails. Boom. If you want to take your craft cocktail game to the next level, if you want to experience Shaker and Spoon, click on my link in the description box below. Use code ADHD at checkout, and you'll save $20 off your first box. Thank you, Shaker and Spoon, for sponsoring this video. And thank you for making me look so impressive when I bring something this good to my wife, who didn't think I could ever do this. Ever. Boom! Shaker and Spoon. Now that we've talked about today's video sponsor, let's get down to business about bourbons that will never get my business ever again. First up on the list has made a list before, but in case you haven't seen it, let's trash this bourbon some more. I can't remember the price on this bourbon, but I'm sure it's gone up since then. And I didn't want to do this because you know I love America so much, but America bourbon whiskey is like something I could not crush. It's bad. It's bad. It's a small batch bourbon, so you know they know buzzwords. It says America's finest bourbon on the label, although I would disagree. It's aged a minimum of 6 months in new charred oak barrels, and it tastes like Reebok sneakers got stuck in a storm drain for the winter, next to the pig farm. Number 2 on my list, unfortunately, is Rebel 100. I've gone through a couple bottles of this, but something happens to this bourbon once it's open for a bit. It starts to taste like, or what some people call, not great. It does have a squeaky cork, which is nice. Never mind, it doesn't even squeak anymore. For some reason, once it's open for a bit, it gets really bitter and yucky. And that's a shame because I love bourbon from Kentucky. Number 3 on my list is an old not favorite of mine. It's Old Tub. Old Tub comes from the Jim Beam distillery. It's only like a $25 bottle. I'm not an economist, but I don't believe that this is even worth the $25 that people are charging. I think the demand curve is curved towards no. Some people do like this Old Tub, and it's okay, you can be wrong once in a while, but just based off the fact that they called this a limited edition bottle puts it on my no-fly zone. And by no fly, I mean no buy. Don't buy it. Sorry, Old Tub. Bottle number 4 on this list is not even a bottle I bought, but I refuse to buy again. Sometimes people in sports get really good at sports and they can throw a football to people really well. And everybody's like, oh, you're so good at sports. You're so good at sports. And then that sports guy gets older and can't play sports anymore for fear of breaking his clavicle. So he goes on sabbatical and tries to come up with a whiskey that is kind of radical. Sweeten's Cove, which is like owned or partially owned or something with Peyton Manning, is what I would call a Hail Mary. And guess what? Incomplete. Incomplete pass. 'Cause not good. Sometimes you're good at something and then you try your hand at something else and charge a lot of money for that, and it's just not good. And that's what happened here. The first Sweeten's Cove was like an autographed hair follicle of Peyton Manning that he was trying to donate to the DNA lab for cloning. It was valuable, but guess what? The DNA people were like, we can't even use this, it's horrible. Second Sweeten's Cove, called Tennessee, is a mix of Kentucky and Tennessee whiskey, and he called it Tennessee because the real name for it, Tennessee, probably would have sold fewer bottles, although it would have been more accurate. This thing tastes like the sack of the quarterback. Fifth on my list is a bottle that had to be on here. It had to make the list. Dustin Poirier's Rare Stash is the most expensive bourbon on this list. You should be ashamed of yourself for charging $100 for this. If you're charging $100 for this, $80 of that should go to like some charity that takes care of people who have been taken advantage of their whole life, because that's what you're doing to people who don't know a lot about bourbon. Conor McGregor makes a better whiskey than Dustin Poirier, and it's a third of the price or less, and Proper 12 is bad. We're getting to the end of this list, a few more to go, and this one is another controversial bottle. It's actually going to be sent to a patron of mine. Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, second bottle of this, and I've drank maybe an ounce out of 2 bottles. I just buy them and give them away because I remember that they're bad once I taste them. It's not necessarily bad, it's just not my jam. It's not my flavor profile, and this is something that people go crazy about for some reason. But listen out there, listen here, and listen close. If you don't love Toasted Barrel bourbon, then you will not like this. If I ever buy another bottle of this and you find out about it, you better call me out and tell me that I'm a big fat liar, even if I'm not fat anymore. Nothing hurts worse than being fat shamed after you've lost a whole bunch of weight. So just keep that in your back pocket in case I need a good shaming. Next up on my list, I didn't want to do, but at the same time kind of want to, because I paid like $70 for this bottle, and Castle and Key Small Batch Bourbon first release is bad. It's not good. Overpriced and not good. Final bottle on my list, I believe this is number 8, possibly number 8. Final bottle on my list is something I just picked up 2 days ago. I got excited about it. I opened it. I poured it in a glass. I immediately recorked it and wanted to break its ass. I am a huge fan of Calumet Farm. 14, 15, 16. Amazing. So I figured an 8-year Calumet at 94 proof, why not give it a shot? I'll tell you why not. This is terrible. This is not good at all. This is bad. And it's $50. $50 plus tax, we're looking at $60 for a bottle of trash. Barrels aged a minimum of 8 years. Something about those barrels, or something about the blend, or something about the water that they mixed it with was bad. And that's my list. And I'm done with my list now. That felt pretty good to get out of my system. I feel rejuvenated and happy. That's the end of the video. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. My name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey. Like I always say, keep your head in the clouds. Oh, that's Rare Stash. Oh. Where was I? My name is Matt. This is ADHD Whiskey, and like I always say, keep your head in the clouds, but your mind on venting once in a while. Don't just talk about the things you love to the people you love. Talk about things you don't love to the people you love. Some of those people will tell you that you're stupid. Some of those people will tell you you're wrong. Some of those people will be in agreement with you. Some of those people won't care. Some of them won't even watch. But it just feels good to talk to a camera once in a while. Or my wife when she's ignoring me. I do that once in a while. She'll be sitting there watching like, gosh, who knows what she's watching. But she's watching something on the TV. And I'm like, babe, you know what annoys the hell out of me? And she's like, 10 minutes later, I realize she hasn't heard a single word I said. Then I say, babe, babe. Babe. So if something makes you mad or is irritating you, put it in the comments below and I'll read it. And if it's something that aggravates me as well, I'll reply and we can together tell that thing to go to hell. Love you all so much. See you next time. Bye.